Any question on the previous class, Sambandhavachaka Padani, or any other topic? A question? No, focus on that. Okay. What is this? Okay, let's move forward. Kutaha, ittaha, itaha, tataha. So we have okay, you can read this. Kutaha. So last time there was one lesson to read, right, at home. Did you finish that? Then was it this one? Yutakasya kiyat mulyam? I think this one. Did you read that at home? Janaki Prasad Mahoday.
I went through that once.
Went through that? Okay, good. Any question here? Urukam. What is Urukam? There is a word called Urukam here.
Short pants, Urukam.
This again coming from the Uruhu. Uruhu means Uruhu.
Thigh?
No, thigh. So which covers the thigh, it's Urukam. Other things are clear, I think. One thing you note that here, Shatam Rupekani, Padatranasya, Kiyat Mulyam. What is the value? You are asking the price or value. Padatrana.
Shata Rupakani, here he divided two words. Can we say Shata Rupakani as one? Or
You can say that. Reduce my volume. You can say that, but I just wanted to highlight when you are saying it like this, Shatam Rupekani. Rupekani is Bahuvachanam, and whereas Shatam is Ekavachanam Napunsakalingam. So even though this rupees, Rupekani is Bahuvachanam, this Shatam remains singular here. 100. For 200, we can say Shatadvayam or Shatanam Dvayam Rupekani. Okay, so
Mahoday, I have a doubt. This, this astu tarhi yutakam krinatu. That means so okay, is it?
Yeah, in that case. That remains in that case.
Okay, in that case. Thank you.
Kati yutakani chati 50 rupyakani ekam yutakam shatam rupyakani kevalam. Oh, Subhashita. Okay. So here, Shatani Rupakani is not correct. But note that that's not the absolute case. In this case, when we want to say 100 rupees exactly, specifically, then it has to be Shatam Rupakani, not Shatani Rupakani. But Shatani Rupakani can be used like just to say like hundreds of rupees, like lot of, in that case. Okay, Subhashitam. You can say Subhashitam. पठतु विजन्ति भगिनी सुभाषितम् अत्र
महोदय परोपकाराय फलन्ति वृक्षः परोपकाराय वहन्ति नद्यः परोपकाराय दुहन्ति गावः परोपकारार्थम् इदं शरीरम् right? Okay.
Yeah. So what is the first sentence here?
I think something. The first one is the first referring that based on something the tree gives the fruit. But
Paropakaraya phalanti vrukshaha. What is vrukshaha?
Trees.
Trees. Phalanti.
Fruits. They.
No.
So
They bear fruit.
Now used as a verb here now.
No, verb. It is actually verb only. Phalati. Verb. Phalati. Originally it is verb. Most of these are in Sanskritam. Most of the words originate from dhatu. When you say most, let's say about 95%. And there is one matam or abhipraya, opinion of many scholars that every word originates in Sanskritam from a verb root dhatu. Phalanti here, phalam, phala is root, phalati means bears fruit or results into something, so from there the nama padam comes phalam or even phalakam. Phalati bears fruit, results. In this case, rukshaha phalati, rukshaha phalanti, bahuvachanam. They bear fruit for what? Paropakaraya. What is paropakaraya?
Service for others.
To benefit others. Para means other. Upakara means to favor or to benefit others. Phalanti ruksha. Then next part.
Paropakaraaya vahanti nadyah. So this is a river which is what do you call that? Which is flowing. So it's because of the good deeds that the rivers flow, something like that, sir.
To benefit others.
The benefit of this, okay.
For the benefit of others. Nadyah vahanti. Rivers flow. In the next part. Paropakaraya. Duhanti.
For others. Cows give milk.
Yeah. Then the last one. Paropakaraartham idam shariram.
Idam means this. Like
yes,
shariram,
idam is this.
shariram, body.
This body. This body is for the benefit of others. To help others in the sense. So we can, the last one, we can assume that paropakaraartham idam shariram. To get looking at all these examples given, vrikshaha, they bear fruit for others, not for themselves. Yeah, no. Originally they bear it for. They give the fruits for themselves to so that seeds can again fall on the ground, and then there can be more fruits and more trees like that. But so we human beings and other animals, we use most of the fruits and eat. So that's a food chain. And the paropakaraya vahanti nadyah. The nadis, the rivers also flow, and then others they benefit from it. Dahanti gavaha. Yeah, so gava, they give the milk for their cows. It's called cows. Then but we take the most of the benefit of the milk, and then so similarly our bodies. Looking at these examples, we should benefit. We should dedicate our bodies for others' benefit, help others.
Like a tree and like river and then cow.
Yeah. Yeah. Take the cues from the nature, all these things. Now for the study purpose here, just you should be noticing when we are reading anything like this, keep on continuously noticing what are the forms like rukshaha, bahuvachanam, phalanti, bahuvachanam, nadyaha, bahuvachanam, like nadi, nadya, nadyaha, vahanti, bahuvachanam, paropakaraaya, chaturthi bhakti. Now shariram, napusakalingam. Now what is idam? Paropakaraartham, we know that, and the idam is at this, but what is the word there? If you're interested, you can look up. Then gavaha. So here it is bahuvachanam. So what is gavaha? So what is the ekavachanam of gavaha? So if you're interested, you can look up those things also, right? So example here gavaha. Here is go.
Yeah.
Go. Okay, go. So here Ajanta Pullinga Shabda, go. Look here. Gauhu gava ugavaha. So this is Bahuvachanam. Okaranta Pullinga Go Shabda. Now it's Pullinga, but in Strilinga also same forms are there. Go can be like a bull or dhenu. It could be bull or it could be cow. In both same word is used. Gauhu gava ugavaha. So it could be Pullinga or it could be Strilinga also. So this is a somewhat different form you see here. Saptami you have gavihi, gavi, gavohu, goshu. Okay. Similarly, shariram, sharire, sharirani. That is like phalam or vanam. Idam, you want to look up what is the idam. Where is the idam here? Shweta, you want to say something? Idam, it comes in the sarvanama shabda. Here is idam, sarvanama shabda, idam. Like, so we know the other sarvanama shabda pronounced like tad, right? Kim. We know that. So, for example, tad, if you look at tad forms, it will in the pullinga, the karanta pullinga, the pratipadikam is tad only, but the prathama vibhakti ekavachana bahuvachana becomes saha, taute, etc. This is the pullinga form becomes saha, and the strilinga forms becomes sa, and the napumsakalinga form remains tat, like tad, tat, tate, tani. And if you look at idam, kaha, yaha, ya, idam, makaranta pullinga, pratipadikam is the idam, and pullinga becomes ayam, ime, strilinga becomes iyam, ime, imaha, napumsakalinga becomes idam, ime, imani. So since shariram is napumsakalingam, we are using this word idam there, not iyam or ayam. So if it is a pullinga shabda, if this word is a visheshanam for a pullinga shabda like ayam balakaha, so then we use ayam, or iyam balika, then use ayam iyam, or napumsakalingam is idam. Other one, the paropakarartham, we have seen that before, right? Like kimartham gacchati. So this is like paropakarartham, kimartham. These are the substitutes for the chaturthi bhakti. So here you say paropakaraya vahanti nadyah. In that case, we can also say paropakarartham vahanti nadyah. Here also paropakarartham idam shariram, paropakaraya idam shariram can be used there also. But just to, I think, paropakaraya idam shariram, then it won't fit there in that chandas. So I think they have used this paropakarartham idam shariram. So it fits in that meter. So this we finished. Sambodhanam panchami antah kutah kutrah ita tatah. So these are all these words are avyayam, avyaya padani. So they do not have any linga. They have fixed forms. What is the meaning of kutah? Kutah is a question word. Like kaha, kim, these are question words like that. Kutah is a question word. Kutah means
From where?
From where. Then tatah means from there. Itaha, from here.
From there.
Itaha, from here. Tataha, from there. And just taha is a suffix. Right? Taha means, taha can be attached to something, and it comes in like a panchami vibhakti sense. Let's read this. Lata and Malati, two are here. Who wants to read this? Who wants to become Lata and another one Malati?
Me, Lata.
Who is Malati?
I can be Malati.
Yeah.
Meera Bhagini.
Lata, Subha Prabhatam Malati Patham Asti Bhavati.
Nilabhini, you're on mute.
Malati Late Aham Samyak Bhavati Atra Vimanasthanake Kimardam.
So here note that Suprabhatam Malati. Keep on understanding Suprabhatam used, and the Malati is a Sambodhanam. That's why it is not Dirgha. Malati is not Malati. So if you do Malati, it becomes Prathama Vibhakti. Then we want to address Sambodhanam. It is Haswa. Ikara there. Malati. Suprabhatam Malati. Kathamasti Bhavati. That is a Dirgha. That is Ekavachanam. Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Bhavati. Kathamasti Bhavati. Now Katham is also question word here. So note that all these question words, interestingly, starting from ka, right? Kaha, ka, kim, katham, kutra, kutaha, kwa is also another word. Kiyat, kati. So these are all ka. So it's interesting. That will come back to that later. Okay. Katham asti bhavati. Ate.
Katham means how. How are you?
Yeah,
Katham.
how. Katham, just katham is how. Okay. Late is also sambodhanam. Late, aham samyak. Bhavati atra vimanasthanake kimartham. Okay. Next one. Lata.
Mama matulah adya vimanena agacchati. Aham matulah sthanakatah girhyam nayami.
So matula. What is matula?
Mama, like Mama.
Uncle.
Matula.
Uncle?
Mother's brother.
Mama.
Mama. Mama matulah adya vimanena agacchati. So note that we are using vimanena as in the tritiya here, like naukaya gacchati, the chakrikaya gacchati. So like that, vimanena we are using tritiya. Mama matulah adya vimanena agacchati. Aham matulam sthanakatah graham nayami. Note here, sthanakatah is what does that mean? Sthanakatah.
From my place, from the place.
From the place.
Going to the house. Is that?
Which place here in this story? Vimanasthanake is there. Purvam, the previous sentence, Bhavati atra vimanasthanake kimartham, that is what Malati is asking Lata. And Lata is replying, Aham matulam sthanakatah graham nayami. Means from station. Because sthanam is just like a place, but here sthanakam we are using as like a station here. Vimanasthanakam means it is airport. And then sthanakatah, you can also say vimanasthanakatah if you want to say full thing. Or from the station or from the port here, graham nayami. So from is, if you want to say from, which vibhakti is used generally?
Panchami.
Panchami. So if you use Panchami on sthanaka, what is the word for Panchami with sthanaka?
Stanakat.
Sthanakat. So you can use sthanakat there. Aham matulam sthanakat graham nayami. So there are two, from and to. There are two words here. Sthanakat indicating from that port. Graham indicating to. The kriyapadam is nayami here. So nayami, graham nayami. So there are.
Means taking or lunch.
Nayami, yeah, taking. I take this mama matulam mama from sthanaka to graham. The sthanakat in that place, alternatively, as Panchami, in the sense of Panchami only, we are adding the taha. Taha is a suffix, which can be basically added to any namapadam. Taha.
So it's both is also right. So stanakat and sthanakataha is both is the same one, right? There's no difference at all, right?
No difference. Sthanakat, not kat.
Stanakat, okay.
Like Ramat, Balakat, Parvatat, Nadi Pravahati. Like that.
So I just want to go back to that row earlier from Malati, like Bhavati Atra Vimanasthanake Sthanake. This is in the airport. Sthanake. This is Saptami Vibhakti, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So there, you can complete the sentence with the verb there. Verb is understood. Bhavati atra vimanasthanake kimartham asti. You can add that asti there.
Okay.
It is not necessary. Why are you in this? It is saying, why are you in the airport? Bhavati atra vimanasthanake. Okay. The next one, aham matalam sthanakatah. Sthanakat, in that place, sthanakatah. So, you can add. Go ahead.
Okay. Malati. Late. Bhavatyaah matulah kutah agachati. From where is kutah? From where he is coming?
Lata. Saha Singapuratah agachati. He's coming from Singapore.
So here taha is used again. Simhapuratah. There also Simhapurat can be used. Panchami. Simhapurat agachati. The first, before that, late bhavatyaha matalah kutah agachati. So there also kutah. That kutah is also, it is avyam here, but actually note that taha is attached to, can be added as a suffix to something to indicate panchami sense. So here kutah, this taha is for like kasmat. So you see kasmat. What is kasmat? Rajal Mohdaya.
Is it why?
No. Kasmat is what? What is the form? What is the base? What is the pratipadika?
Kim. Is it Kim?
Kim.
Yeah.
The Kim in the Pullinga or Napunsakalinga becomes kasmat. Right? So what is the meaning of kasmat?
So it is. Is it like the Panchami?
For whom?
Yeah, Panchami only.
Yeah. So for for whom? Something like.
Not for.
Or
Panchami
from.
From.
Panchami is more from. So from
So
where or from
what? From what? Like
from what? Oh, yeah. From what? Yeah.
So same in the meaning of kasmat, kutah is there here. Okay? So like we added the taha here for sthanaka. So same thing, we are adding taha to kim, to base word, and then it becomes kutah. This becomes avyam. So these are all avyam. When you add this becomes taha, sthanakatah becomes avyam. This is kasmat or sthanakat is not avyam. That is a panchami bhakti. But when you add taha to the base word, pratipadikam, then it turns into avyam, but conveys the same meaning as the panchami bhakti.
So taha means like this answer to the taha question.
Which taha?
This added taha. So sthana taha means, so it is like answering this kataha question, kutaha question.
Yeah, in this story, yes.
Okay. Yeah, in this. Okay, so it is. Okay, Mahodaya. Thank you.
I mean, it doesn't. When you add taha, it doesn't have to be answered to kutaha. Right? There may not be any question. Somebody may be just saying that, like for example, parvatataha nadi pravahati. Right? You are just writing some essay. You can say nobody is asking you the question. You can say Ramaha vanataha agacchati. Ramaha Ayodhya nagarataha vanam gacchati.
Okay, so it is like you said, alternative form of Panchami. Okay, dhanyavad.
Mahodaya, I assume taha is mostly connected to a place, something that indicates in the distance. Is that true? Whereas the Panchami is, it could be anything, like Linga, Strilinga, or Napunsakalinga objects.
I didn't understand the question. So taha is like a not, doesn't need to be place, right? It could be any namapadam.
I see. Okay.
उदाहरणं उदाहरणं
So we can also say we can say okay.
विमानतः, for example, let's take उदाहरणं वृक्षतः फलं पतति.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get. Okay.
और विमानतः जनाः बहिः आगच्छन्ति.
So is there any occasions that we use taha or Panchami Vibhakti?
No, it's up to you. There's no rule like that.
No rule.
स्थानकतः गृहं नयामि, तत् सिंहपुरतः आगच्छति.
So if like what she said, if we say matatah palam aham palam swikaromi, is that right? Would that be right?
मातृतः.
Matatah. Okay. Is that acceptable?
प्रातिपदिकं should be there. मातृतः.
Matrutah. Okay.
You can continue, Lata.
मालती, शोभनं.
Malati. Okay, Shobhanam. Bhavati, kimadham atra?
There is again Malati here. Okay.
Malati, mama pitamahi itaha Amerikadeशं गच्छति. तस्याः विमानं भारतदेशात् प्रश्नदेशं प्रश्नदेशं गच्छति. तत् अमेरिकादेशं गच्छति.
भवत्याः पितामही इदानीं भवत्या सह नास्ति.
मालती.
नास्ति किं? That is a प्रश्नः अस्ति. भवत्याः पितामही इदानीं भवत्या सह नास्ति किम्?
मालती, मम पितामही तस्याः गृहतः अत्र आगच्छति.
They continue.
Yeah.
तथा सा ततः अत्र कथम् आगच्छति.
मालती, सा ततः अत्र लोकयानेन गच्छति. भवती मातुलम् इतः गृहं कथं नयति?
लता, अहं मातुलम् इतः गृहं भाटकयानेन नयामि. मालती, तत्र पश्यतु, बृहत् विमानम् आकाशात् अवतरति. इदानीं मम मातुलः विमानतः बहिः आगच्छति.
So all there is note here grahatah. So you understood, I think. So wherever grahatah, so in Panchami Sanskrit is there tasyaha gruhat atra agacchati. Then tatah.
Meaning of bhatakayanena.
Bhatakayanam just used for the taxi. Bhataka is a rental. So yanam is vahanam. So using it here for taxi or a cab. So tataha, itaha, we saw that here. So they are also used in the sense of panchami. Tataha is like tasmat, like kutaha is for kasmat, tataha stands for tasmat, and itaha stands for asmat. So again, itaha, if you look at this here, so this root word here is idam, and the panchami here is asmat. So this is idam means this. Asmat means from this. So in this same sense, same meaning, we use this itaha, adding to idam, we use itaha. It doesn't become idam taha. So it undergoes some changes here. So itaha. Similarly, tasmat. So base word there is tad, tad, but it undergoes some change. So finally, changing it to tataha. So tataha means tasmat. Itaha means asmat, from this or from here. Then tataha. Bhavati matalam itaha.
What is the meaning of taha only? Taha.
Huh?
Taha.
Which one? Taha?
Yeah.
Just taha, there is no, it is not used. Taha is a suffix added to any of these words.
Oh.
Brahat vimanam akashat avatarati. Here also you could have used akashatah. That is fine. Akashat avatarati. Sometimes it is easy, right? If you don't remember what is the Panchami Bhakti of something, you can just use taha, akashatah. Idanim mama matalah vimanatah bahi agacchati.
Sir, I just want to ask. I don't understand this. Idanim mama matulah vimanatah bahihi agacchati. This vimanatah, that means from the airplane, right?
From the airplane, vimanat.
Vimanat. Then there's also bahihi, right? So how do I understand the sentence? Vimanatah bahihi agacchati. I mean, how does the sentence state in English?
He comes out of the airplane.
Okay, matula vimanat bahihi agacchati. Oh, he comes out of the aeroplane. Okay. Okay,
So that bahihi we studied before, right?
Outside, yeah.
There is a lesson where with bahihi we use Panchami Bhakti.
Correct.
Bhavanat bahihi vahanani santi. I think there was a lessons before. Nagarat bahihi udyanam asti. Matulah vimanatah means vimanat bahihi agacchati. It comes out of the airplane.
Out of the airplane. Okay, sir.
Okay, last one.
Malati. Astu. Mama pita mahyaः विमानम् अपि यानाय सिद्धम् अस्ति. अहं ह्यः तत्र गच्छामि.
Couple of typos here. Just a few. This should be ma here, matulam, and here should be aham. Okay. Just note that. Because there is a swara following this ma, so it has to be ma there. Matulam itaha, aham itaha.
Oh, that's right.
Any other question here? Aham matulam bhatakayanena nayami. Tatra pashyatu. What I wanted to say, taha. So I said this taha replaces this panchami. Grahataha, I can use that. Vimanataha, akashataha. But taha sometimes used like by. Mama grahataha udyanam asti. Or mama grahataha nadi pravahati. That means by my or near my house there is a river or a park or something. Okay? Many times it can be used like that also. Grahataha or any taha. mama vidyalayatah or mama karyalayatah apanah asti. It doesn't mean from my, by my. It depends on the context. You have to look to see what is the context there. Mama gruhatah, mama karyalayatah apanah asti, something like that. Okay, ready for the next one? This app is not good. क्रियापदानि भूतकालः. I hope all of you remember we studied a kriyapada roopam in couple of forms. Which are the forms we have studied? One kala we studied. Which one we studied? Huh?
Is it bhutakala?
No, we did not study bhutakala.
Bhavishyakala.
Was two forms of this Vartaman Kala.
Vartakala.
Two forms of Vartamana Kala?
Right.
Yeah, one was this imperative form and one was normal.
Imperative is not Vartamana Kala.
Lot lakara.
Okay. Lot Lakara, yeah.
Lot Lakara. So we studied two forms of Kriyapadam. So where is that? So this one. Here. Pathati, pathatah, pathanti. Do you see this?
Yes.
Very junior. Okay. Pathati, pathatah, pathanti, pathasi, pathatah, pathatha, pathami, pathavah, pathamah. So this was the Vartamana Kala forms, Rupani, and it's also called Lat Lakara. So the different forms, set of forms of Kriyapadas in Sanskritam, they are called Lakara. There are 10 Lakaras in Sanskritam. So the first one is Vartamana Kala, Lat Lakara. So it's like Pathati, Nrutyati, Chorayati, Bhavati. And each Lakara has this 3 Vachanas and 3 Purushas. Prathama Purusha is used for this. Now let's just start from Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purusha is used with Aham, Avam, Vayam. In the Madhyama Purusha, forms are used with Tvam, Yuvam, Yuyam. And with everything else, Prathama Purusha forms are used. This we have studied, this Lakara we have studied before. And then we study the last one here, Prathama Purusha, Lot Lakara, Prathama Madhyama. Pathatu, Pathatam, Pathantu, Patha, Pathatam, Pathata, Pathani, Pathava, Pathama. Vartamana Kala is used in the present tense and also present tense, and the Lot Lakara forms are used in where? When are the Lot Lakara forms are used? Pathatu.
Request, permission, or instruction, something like that, sir?
No. In instruction, request, or even ordering, order somebody, or order oneself, myself. So Pathani, Aham Pathani, let me read, or I should read. So these are used. Now,
I have a question. Pratham Purus. Sir, I have a question. Pratham Purus means he, she, it.
Yeah. Correct.
And then Madhyam means you.
No. Prathama Purusha doesn't mean he, she, it. Prathama Purusha forms are used where the subject is he, she, it. For example, Saha Pathati. So in that, Pathati is the Prathama Purusha form. And the subject or the Kartrupadam is Saha, right? Saha is doing the work. Saha is doing reading.
Oh. And then
Madhyama Purusha, patasi, is used when the subject is tvam.
you.
Tvam patasi.
You. Up. Okay. Up. Like in Hindi, it's up. You. For Madhyam Purush.
Yes.
And then Uttam Purush means we and we.
I.
Uttama Purusha, again, it doesn't mean we, you. Uttama Purusha forms like patami, patavaha, patamaha. They are used when the subject or the doer of the action or the kriya are the words aham, avam, or vayam. That is I, we two, or us. Vayam is we. Aham is I. Avam is two of us, we two.
And then what is the difference of lot and long? Lot means like normal and long means order or
No. We have not seen a lung. This is lung and lut. So these two we have not studied. We'll study that later. So we have studied only this lat. This is lat. That means vartamana kala, for present tense. Present. Okay. And the other one lot. Lot is, this is lot, last one. Lot, in English you can say it as imperative. Means we are requesting somebody or ordering somebody. So what is the example here? Ramah pustakam pathatu. What does that mean?
Rama, read the book. Please read the book.
Yeah. No, we are not asking Rama here. We are saying Ramah pustakam pathatu. We are not asking or addressing Rama, right? Rama is Prathama Vibhakti, not a Sambodhanam. Ramah pustakam pathatu.
Is it to let Rama read the book?
Let Rama read the book. So if you want to ask Rama, then you can say Rama means Sambodhanam. Hey Rama, pustakam patha. Tvam pustakam patha. You read the book. So you say patha here. You read the book. Then pathani is for myself. Let me read the book. Aham pustakam pathani. Let me read the book. Vayam pustakam pathama. Let us read the book. Avam pustakam pathava. Let two of us read the book. Similarly, tvam pustakam patha, yuvam pustakam pathatam. Two of you read the book. Yuyam pustakam pathata. You, many of you, read the book. Then saha pustakam patatu. Tau. Saha tau te, right? Tau is dvivachanam of you. Two of them. Let them read the book. And then te pustakam pathanto. Let them read the book. Many of them. Is that okay? Rita Bhagini, any other question here?
no? Thank you.
Now we are going to start. So these two we studied so that we understand or we can use in our practice Vartamana Kala and imperative or the request or order. But what about what about Bhutakala? Bhutakala and Bhavishyat Kala we want to, because they are also important kala, right? When we want to say something, you read the book yesterday, or I ate the food 2 hours back. So in that case, how are you going to form the sentences? We need the past tense for that, bhutakala forms. Which are the bhutakala forms? How are you going to use that? So here we have shown here, in this table shows this as the bhutakala, which is called lang lakara. Lang lakara, okay, which is shown on the top there. Second one, lang. So this is that table here. So if you say saha pustakam apathat or balakaha pustakam apathat, so we can use or tau pustakam apathatam, te pustakam apathan, then tvam pustakam apathaha, yuvam pustakam apathatam, yuyam pustakam apathata, aham pustakam apatham, avam pustakam apathava, vayam pustakam apathama. So this means that, what does that mean? He read the book, they too read the book, and they read the book. Similarly, you read the book. Two of you read the book.
Always we put the in front of the word. That's the past tense.
Sorry?
Like any verb, if we put the and then this comes the past tense.
Yeah, but there is some difference, right? It is not just adding right? This is patasi, this is apathaha, patati, apathat. Yeah, is important here. Has to be added at the back or in the beginning.
Suppose
and then
put the means past. Agachyata
agachat.
is past.
Past. Gachati, agachat. If you want to know more about these forms, they are listed here. If you come back here, for example, if you want to see the bhu dhatu, bhu becomes bhavati. In the present tense, bhavati, bhavata, bhavanti, etc. In the past tense, you can say abhavat, abhavatam, abhavan, etc. Similarly, you can look up other asa becomes asti. What is the past tense? You can look for them also in the lang lakara forms. So those are the past tense forms are there. Okay. However, in this lesson of the book, we are not going to use these forms, lang lakara forms. We will use a different alternative here. Here, for a couple of them like asti and abhavat, bhavati, we use the lang lakara forms, and for others like gachati, pachati, we use a different form of the word. We'll see. We'll look at them now. Okay. Vartamana kala, bhuta kala. 2 columns are here. So what is this one? First one.
Adde virama dinam asti. And then this past.
Past.
How Vaha virama dinam asita.
Asit. So here first is asti is the vartamana kala. We are looking at the kriyapadam here. Vartamana kala asti and bhuta kala asit. And similarly, this is the ekavachana, right? Asti is ekavachana, madhya viramadanam. This today's holiday. Back viramadanam asti. Asti is ekavachanam. Asit is also ekavachanam in the past tense. That is the lang lakara. Then next one. Okay.
Sevakaah bhavani santi and sevakaah bhavani asan.
Santi asan. So we are changing santi to asan. This is what vachanam? Bahuvachanam. Because sevakaah is bahuvachanam, santi is present tense bahuvachanam, and asan is present tense bahuvachanam of the kriyapadam. Okay, next one.
Bhavani means
Bhavani means building. They are in the building. Sevaka, they are in the building. Next one.
अद्य अहं गृहे अस्मि ह्यः अहं गृहे आसम्
Next one.
अद्य वयं क्रीडाङ्गणे स्मः ह्यः वयं क्रीडाङ्गणे आस्म.
So here
क्रीडाङ्गणे. What is क्रीडाङ्गण?
Kridangana is
Playground.
playground.
Okay.
So here note, from here to here certain kriyapada is used here, which is asti, different forms of asti here. Asti is the viramadinam asti, means it is like saha asti, saying that saha. It only with aham and only with aham uttama purusha is used. Only with tvam madhyama purusha is used. With everything else, all other words, prathama purusha forms are used. So here viramadhanam is not aham or tvam, right? It is something else, some other word. So with that prathama purusha form is used, asti here. And whatever the vachanam of this word is there, that is a subject, kartapadam. The same vachanam is used for the kriyapadam also. Viramadhanam asti. So here also viramadhanam. Only we are changing the kala here. So present tense changing to past tense. Vachanam remains same. Viramadhanam asti and viramadhanam asid. Similarly here bahuvachanam. What is the subject word here? In the second sentence, what is the subject word?
Bahuvachan for sevaka.
Sevakaha. Sevakaha is a kartrupadam, and sevakaha bhavane santi. That is bahuvachanam, because sevakaha is a kartrupadam, santi is it should be in the same vachanam as the kartrupadam. So sevakaha santi. Similarly, sevakaha asan. We are just changing the kala here. And then adya aham gruhe asmi. In this sentence, what is the kartrupadam?
Aham.
Aham. And because the word is aham, kartrupadam is aham, we are using the uttama purusha form of that verb, asmi. And so we are just changing that in the same purusha, uttama purusha, ekavachanam, asam. Asmi becomes asam. Aham gruhe asam. I was at home yesterday. Yeah. So if you want to look at the different forms of asti, you can refer to again same table. Okay, so us second one you can see. If you have any book also, you can refer to it, which give the forms of many different kriyapadas. But here some representative main kriyapadas are given here. So if you see asti stha santi, asistha stha, asmi swaha smaha, this is the vartamana kala. And if you go to this bhuta kala langlakara, asit astam asan, asihi astam asta, asam asva asma. So these are the these words can be used kriyapada forms in vartamana kala and bhuta kala. So one thing to note here that we said uttama purusha forms are used. When are the uttama purusha forms are used? When are the uttama purusha forms are used?
When when aham, avam and vayam used, is it? Aham, avam.
When the word has to be specifically the word has to be aham, not the. There could be other words which might mean aham, but here the word must be aham. Aham, and in this case it should be avam, in this should be vayam. And what about this one? Madhyama Purusha forms.
Tvam.
The words must be tvam, or the kartrupadam, the word used for the kartrupadam must be tvam.
Tvam, yuam, yuyam.
Yuyam. And the prathama Purusha forms are used for all other words when the kartrupadam is all other words. That means it could be saha, viramadinam, lokayanam, yanam, whatever. Ramaha, Krishnaha, Sita, anything. That means this prathama Purusha forms can also be used for bhavan, bhavati. Right? What is the meaning of bhavan and bhavati?
I ask
You.
What is the meaning of tvam?
Also you.
Also you. So both are you. So but by definition, Madhyama Purusha forms of the Kriyapadam has to be used when the word is tvam, not bhavan, bhavati, though the meaning is same here. So when you use bhavan, bhavati, then we cannot use Madhyama Purusha form, though it means you. We must use Prathama Purusha form. So when we want to say bhavan, we say asti, bhavati asti. Similarly, in Bhutakala, we say bhavan asit, bhavati asit. Again, bhavan can have its dvivachana form or bahuvachana form. What is the form? What is the bahuvachana form of bhavan?
Bhavata.
Bhavantaha.
Bhavantaha. And bahuvachana form of bhavati?
Bhavatyaha.
Bhavatyaha. Bhavatyaha, not bhavatyaha. Bhavatyaha is Shashti word. Bhavatyaha. Prathama vipakti bahuvachanam. Like Nadyah. Nadi, Nadyo, Nadyah. Paropakaraaya vahanti Nadyah. Bahuvachanam. So Bhavatyaha. So Bhavantaha or Bhavatyaha. So Bhavantaha santi or Bhavantaha pathanti. Bhavantaha asan. And Bhavatyaha santi. Bhavatyaha pathanti. Bhavatyaha gachanti. So we are not using Bhavatyaha with the Madhyama Purusha or Bhavan, Bhavantaha with Madhyama Purusha. So
bhavan. We use not the he, just for the respected word. If we want to respect, like we use the bhavan and bhavat instead of.
yeah, there is no concept in Sanskritam like that. Tvam is respect only. In Bhagavad Gita, for example, you find Tvam, Bhavan alternate anywhere. So it depends. You can use alternatively. But nowadays people are trying not to use Tvam, thinking that it somehow degrades the respect, which is not true. So Bhavan is just an alternate form of you. Tvam, sorry. There is no respect and sense. Tvam is equally valid. It just indicates the vachanam here. Ekavachanam. Astu. So if in the beginner's course or at the beginning stage, if you want to avoid remembering the forms of Madhyama Purusha, an additional set of forms for kriyapadam, like asistha stha, asihi asta masta. If you want to avoid remembering that, it's fine. You can just remember the prathama purusha forms and use bhavan in that case instead of tvam. Right? Both meaning same. So why to remember the madhyama purusha? Why to overload your brain unnecessarily or memory with the tvam? But personally I like it, but it depends on you. If you do not want to remember this, you can use this. So that's why in this first level books also, or what they call themselves, beginner level books, including this one or even the other books also, you do not, they skip this madhyama purusha and just use this prathama purusha forms for using bhavan. So it's possible. Bhavan patati, bhavan gacchati, bhavati gacchati, so like that. But as we progress, we can start using this madhyama purusha forms also. Okay, that is one thing. Secondly, let's continue this.
I'll read that. Adya Rashtrotsavah bhavati. ह्यः राष्ट्रोत्सवः अभवत्.
So here also what we are saying, bhavati ekavachanam. What happened? Rashtrotsavah, or just say utsavah abhavat. Utsava is like a celebration. Adya utsavah bhavati. Today celebration happens. Okay. And in the past tense, I am using this hyaha, yesterday. Utsavah abhavat. It happened. So here bhavati present tense, abhavat past tense. So which again you can look at the forms here. Right? Look at the forms. Abhu. Bhavati, bhavatah, bhavanti, these are forms, and abhavat, bhavatan, abhavan, these are forms. So this is the present tense, this is the past tense, abhavan. So those can be used. And next one puts it in the bahuvachanam. Adya karyakrame gitani bhavanti, yaha karyakrame gitani abhavan. Songs will be there. Songs, I should not say will, because you may think that is a Bhavishyat Kala. But this is present. Adya, today, there are songs in today's program. Yesterday's program, there were songs. Karyakrame Gitani Abhavan. So Bhavanti changing to Abhavan, which you can see obviously here. Bhavanti changing to Abhavan here. In the past tense, Bahuvachanam. Right. So so these are clear, right? Asam, asam, asma, abhavat, santi changing to asan. So these vartamana kala, which is lat lakara, changing to bhuta kala, which is lang lakara, right? Lang lakara forms, which is shown here, lang lakara forms. But now starting for other verbs. So for other kriyapadas, here we used asti and bhavati kriyapadas. So these examples show asti and bhavati use sentences using asti and bhavati kriyapadam. Now the next example shows a different kriyapadam here. So what is it?
Bhavan Vidyalayam Gachati, then Bhavan Vidyalayam Gatavan.
So here Bhavan Vidyalayam Gachati, Bhavan Vidyalayam Gatavan. This is present tense, obviously we already know that lat lakara, bhavan vidyalayam gacchati. So also note that we are not using tvam here, we are using bhavan, just to avoid that madhyama purusha overload here. So we can use tvam vidyalayam gacchasi also, but right now let's keep that aside. We will keep using bhavan just to keep it simple. Bhavan vidyalayam gacchati. So you go to, or you are going to school. Now past tense, bhavan vidyalayam gatavan. This is not looking like abhavat. So previously Tita Bhagini said, so gacchati becomes agachat in past tense lang lakara, which is right, which is if you use lang lakara. But here again, just for thinking that, to keep it simple, to remember, we are using a different form of bhutakala words which indicate bhutakala, a different form. So here bhavan vidyalayam gatavan. What does that mean?
He went to the school.
He went to the school. No, not he, you.
So
you went.
Sorry.
Bhavan vidyalayam gatavan. He went to the school. And also, if you use bhavan vidyalayam agachat, what does that mean? If you use actual lang lakara like abhavat, what does that mean?
Came. It'll be he came.
No, agachat, not agachat, agachat. If you use
Agachat
this,
means, he came. Past tense, right?
not came, he went. Like her. Okay.
Went.
He went.
Now let's take the next example to keep it simple, to quickly understand. Next one. Okay. Bhavati pustakam pathati. What does that mean?
You read a book.
Who you? Bhavati is Strilinga here. Bhavati? No, you only.
You is, yeah. So
you should be
female person. Yeah, Strilinga.
Pustakam patati. And Bhavati pustakam, if you use this form, we already seen this form on this Koshtakam, right? This, what is the form of Bhutakala? No, in this, what is the form? So if I say Bhavati pustakam patati, convert that to past tense using this table. So what do you?
Abhavat.
Bhavati pustakam apatat.
Patat.
Apatat. Bhavati pustakam apatat. What does that mean?
You read a book.
You read the book. Now, in that place, instead of saying Bhavati pustakam apatat, we are bringing in a different form here. Patitavati. Patitavati. And which means Bhavati pustakam patitavati, you read the book. Okay? You read the book. That you should be against Strilinga here. But if you want to say bhavan.
Well, this is a Pratham Purush. This is the Pratham Purush. Bhavati pustak pathati. This is the Pratham Purush. Bhavati.
Bhavati is not Prathama Purusha. That's why I remember. Bhavati is not Prathama Purusha. Prathama Purusha applies only to Kriyapadam. Bhavati is Namapadam.
So it's a distinction between the Pullinga and Strilinga when we say Bhavan Patat.
Yeah, one second. Rita Bhagini, what is the? I think Is that clear? Tvam is not a Madhyama Purusha. Is that clear to everyone? Subhashra beginning.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm sorry, sir. What is the question?
What is the meaning of Madhyama Purusha? Is Tvam Madhyama Purusha?
Yes.
Prajwal Mahoday.
Mahoday, this Madhyama Purusha form, I think, did you mention that it was the verb, like this patasi is this used with Madhyama Purusha?
Patasi is the Madhyama Purusha. Patataha or patasi is the form of the verb in Madhyama Purusha. Patataha is a form of verb in Madhyama Purusha. Patami is a form of the verb in Uttama Purusha. Aham tam is not, they are not Uttama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha.
Okay. Okay.
Aham is just shown here for reference. I can remove this. Okay. These forms, Patami. So, question.
So they're pronouns then, no?
So the only words
they are Namapadam. They are separate Namapadam. Yeah. What is that, Prajwal?
Only the verbs are now relevant to this Purusha.
Yeah.
Purusha
Yes.
concept. I mean the pronouns are somehow irrelevant.
Yeah, pronouns are irrelevant. Yeah, means they are Namapadam, like any other Rama,
Yeah.
Krishna, Tvam, Aham. They are Namapadam, and this Uttama Purusha form of the Kriya Padam is used with the Namapadam Aham only.
Okay.
Aham is not Uttama Purusha.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The word Aham is not Uttama Purusha, but Patami, which is the form of Patadhatu in Uttama Purusha, it is a Uttama Purusha form of Patadhatu, is used with the Namapadam Aham.
Okay. Yes. I get it now. Yes. Thank you.
Sir, my question is, if there is a we think like that's a Uttam Purush, Pathani. If there is a he, she, it, we put the Pratham Purush.
Yes.
And then like you means like Tom, and then Bhavati, Bhavanti. These all are the Madhyam Purush.
No.
Just I don't understand Madhyam Purush.
Purusha is the form of the Kriyapadam. Okay.
Yeah, I understand these things.
Yeah. Purusha, like for example, Uttama Purusha is the form of this Kriyapadam, Patami. That's it. Okay.
I know the bar.
And this
subject I'm talking about.
And this form.
I think she's confused between like you and if Bhavanti and Bhavatah comes under Madhyama Purusha. Is that so, sister?
Oh.
Is that your confusion?
Yeah.
I think because she's putting Bhavati and Bhavan under Madhyama Purusha together with you over here. I think so, sir.
No, yeah. Okay, so Vijayantipun, you want to explain a little bit your understanding?
Sir, you explain, sir. You're better, sir. I'm not so
Huh?
good.
Yeah.
I'm not so good. I mean, for me, I think as far as I understand, this specifically patasi, patataha, patataha is like very specific. Like tvam, you use tvam patasi, very specific to that swan. So yuvam, so both of you, you have to use patataha, and then yuyam, which is very specific to yuyam, then you have to use patata. Is that right, sir? Then for Bhavan and Bhavati, I think it's Bhavan Patati, Bhavati is a Patati, right, sir?
Yeah, if it is bhavan, you use patati.
Or I think the confusion is because sometimes like bhavan looks like a yushmat. I mean, it looks like you for Strilinga and Pumsakalinga, but then it's coming under Prathama Purush. But,
yes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bhavan means you. Bhavati means you. That is correct. But because the word is bhavan, we use this patati form only. We don't use patasi. When in the sentence, if there is a word bhavan, we use this patati, gacchati, etc. These forms. If we are using tvam, we use patasi, gacchasi, these forms.
Okay.
Both of them, bhavan also means you only.
I just know Sanskrit is really hard. Oh my goodness, for memorize.
Well, it's difficult. Yeah.
Is it hard? Why is it hard? Just two things. Bhavan, if the word is bhavan, use this first line. These forms. If the word is tvam, use this line.
Okay. Now I understand.
If the word is aham, use this third line.
Okay.
So basically only three options are there, right? If the word is aham, use this third line. If the word is tvam, use this second line. For any other word, use this first line. So any other word means bhavan is also a different word, right? It's not tvam. But it could be bhavan, it could be balakah, it could be Ramaha, Sita, anything. So specifically in the sentence, if the word is aham, use this. In the word specifically, if the word is tvam, use this. For any other word, including bhavan, even if it means you, use this first line.
Okay, thank you.
We are talking about the Bhutakala. In the Bhutakala, we can use this. Again, same rule. If the word is aham, use this last line. If the word is tvam, use the second line. For any other word, including bhavan, even if it means you, use this first line for Bhutakala. Okay, so that is what we saw with the examples here. The first, these examples, asti and this, bhavati and bhavanti.
One quick question. Can I replace like bhavati pustakam patitavati? Can I say bhavati pustakam apatat? It's the same, right? Apatat.
Yes. That's correct.
Okay.
But from here onwards, these examples do not show the lang lakara forms. These show a different form. They are called bhuta krudanta forms. They are called bhuta krudanta. If you are attending or following the, that's not explained here. But krudanta is another. Bhuta krudanta is actually namapadam. Note that this is a namapadam. Gatavan and patitavati. These are namapadam. These are not kriyapadam. But they are being used here in the sense of past tense. This is an alternative option of to use lang lakara in a way. Lang lakara form can be used, as you said, instead of patitavati, I can say apatat. Bhavati pustakam apatat. However, many times those people find remembering those lang lakara forms is harder than remembering these bhuta krudanta forms. So to make it easier, at least in the first stage of learning Sanskritam, these bhuta krudanta forms are introduced as an alternate way of to use the to say the past tense in place of lang lakara. Why? Because lang lakara, you will have to remember that apatan, apatat, apatatam, apatan, etc. and 9 forms. And many of those forms in for different verbs, they are hard to remember. So you can say again, I have to memorize everything. So to again make it simpler here, these bhuta krudanta forms, which are actually namapada forms, are introduced. Many times these are easier to recall and remember. However, there is one difference here. Because these are namapadam, remember, these are not kriyapadam. Bhuta krudanta forms are not kriyapadam. That means they do not have purusha. Only kriyapadas have those madhyama purusha, uttam purusha and pratama purusha. But namapada, what does that mean? Namapada, they do not have purusha. What do they have then? Each namapada has vibhakti. Vibhakti means how many, that means the entire vibhakti table. So each namapadam has entire vibhakti table here. And also what does that mean? Each namapadam has a lingam. Kriyapadam doesn't have a lingam. Right? Gacchati can be used also for saha gacchati or sa gacchati, correct? So whether it is pullinga or strilinga or even apunsaka the same form of kriyapadam is used. Jalam patati, balakah patati, balika patati, anything. Apunsakalinga, strilinga, linga doesn't make difference for kriyapadam forms. But once it comes to namapadam, then we'll have to think about lingam also. So we have lingam in the entire vibhakti table in 7 vibhaktis, and vachanam will also be there obviously, because vachanam is also there for kriyapadas also. And here vachanam, lingam as well as vibhakti. For that, namapada has to be considered. So bhuta kradanta in this example here, bhavan vidyalayam gacchati, that is the first form, and bhavan vidyalayam gatavan is the word here. So what does it mean?
So this gatavan should be following bhavan then, the karta.
Yes. Yeah. So it comes as a visheshana.
And linga as the bhavan.
Yes, visheshanam. Okay. So here bhuta kradantas, they are essentially visheshanam or adjective to the main karta here. So the kartrupadam bhavan, it becomes gatavan. So if it is Ramaha, what does that mean? Ramaha vidyalayam gatavan only, because gatavan is the pullinga form of that kriyapadam. Gatavan, ekavachanam. Now, right now we don't have, let's not look into the, I can show you the entire vibhakti form of gatavan. Let's look at some examples first. Let's not get into complications. So, bhavan vidyalayam gatavan, saha vidyalayam gatavan. Now, the next thing is bhavati pustakam patitavati. Now, here if you want to say, instead of bhavan, if you want to say bhavati, which is strilinga. Now, this gatavan should also change to strilinga because it is adjective. Now, strilinga form of gatavan is like patitavati, gatavati. Okay. Strilinga form of gatavan is gatavati. So if the kartrupadam is strilingam, we use the strilinga form of that bhuta kradanta strilinga form of that kriyapadam. So gatavati, for example here patitavati, bhavati pustakam patitavati. If we change it to bhavan, so what that patitavati becomes?
Patitavan.
So it changes the form to look like gatavan, patitavan. So there is a compromise here. In place, we want to make it simpler to remember in the first stage that we do not want to remember all the lang lakara, that 9 madhyama purusha, uttam purusha and pradhama purusha forms of different verbs, and we want to use bhuta kridanta form in that place and make just for ease of remembering. So there is a compromise, means once it becomes an adjective which is a nama padam, then it has to be the same lingam vachanam vibhakti of bhavan. Then what is the advantage here? Plus point, we don't need to worry about the purusha, because purusha is applicable to only kriya pada forms like lang lakara, lot lakara and lat lakara, all those lakara are the kriya pada forms. So where the purusha matters, linga doesn't matter. But here linga matters, purusha doesn't matter. So what does that mean? Purusha doesn't matter. So this kartrupadam can be aham. Right? Remember that purusha in the kriya padam is depending on what is the kartru. If it is aham, we use the uttama purusha forms like patami, etc. If it is tvam as a kartru padam, we use madhyama purusha forms like pathasi, etc. For any other words, we use the prathama purusha forms. But here, since these are adjectives which are namapadam, we don't need to worry about the purusha. That is the main advantage here. So whether it is bhavan, which is so bhavan, and then it could be tvam also, it could be aham also. Okay. So then these things remain same depending on the lingam of this aham, tvam, and whatever is the kartrupadam. Only you have to think about the lingam, not the purusha. Lingam and vachanam. So that way this says some plus points. So we can say bhavan vidyalayam gatavan. Tvam, if that tvam is purusha, then you can say tvam vidyalayam gatavan. If that tvam is three, if you are telling it to your some friend which is a female, then you say tvam vidyalayam gatavati. Okay. Then similarly aham, if I am saying, I say aham vidyalayam gatavan. But if some female is saying, if Neela Bhagini is saying, she can say aham vidyalayam gatavati, not gatavan. Okay. Because you are a stree there. Aham vidyalayam gatavati. Similarly, saha Ramaha vidyalayam gatavan, Balaka vidyalayam gatavan. So this word can be anything. So as long as we keep that linga in mind, this remains same. Okay. So similarly here, aham pustakam patitavan patitavati, tvam patitavan patitavati, purushah patitavan patitavati, stri patitavan patitavati, etc. This remains same. So that way this has advantage. Now only thing you have to remember here, if this becomes the bahuvachanam, this you have to change to bahuvachanam, which is happening in the kriyapadam also. So if you say bhavantaha, this which is shown in the next example here, next example here, balikaha bhojanam khadanti. The next here, balikaha bhojanam khaditavatyah. So here khadanti is there. If it is ekavachanam, let us say balika is ekavachanam, and if you want to say balika bhojanam, she eats food. So how do we form this present tense vartamana kala form? If it is ekavachanam, balika
khadati,
balika bhojanam khadati. Now past tense for ekavachanam becomes balika bhojanam what? Khadati becomes bhuta kridanta.
Kaditavati.
Akadat is correct in the lang lakara, but now bhuta kridanta form we are using
Kaditavati.
Khaditavati. So khaditavati. Now this khaditavati, anyway, khaditavati. Now if you want to change it to bahuvachanam, balikaha bhojanam, that khaditavati you have to change it to bahuvachanam because it is a visheshanam. Khaditavati, well, the forms will be like nadi shabda, which you already know. Nadi shabda, what is the bahuvachanam of nadi?
Nadyaha.
Nadyaha. So same thing, khaditavati becomes khaditavatyah, okay? Because it is visheshanam for balikaha. Balikaha bhojanam khaditavatyah. So that way it is easier. So now you don't have to remember the what is the purusha form Bahuvachana Purusha form. What is Purusha form? Akadat, akaditam, akadan. So that is another way to akadan you can use. But in that place, if you want to use Bhuta Kridanta form, kaditavatyaha. Now, good thing here is that Balikaha could be, in this you can say Bahuvachana form of Bhavati also. What is Bahuvachana form of Bhavati?
Bhavatyaha.
Bhavatyaha Bhojanam Kaditavatyaha. And Tvam Bahuvachana form also can be used here. What is the Tvam Bahuvachana form? Yoyam. Tvam Yam Yoyam. Yoyam Bhojanam. If that is a group of strees, then you can use Yoyam Bhojanam Kaditavatyaha. Similarly, us, we ate the food. For we use Vayam, right? Vayam Bhojanam Kaditavatyaha. So we don't have to worry about the Purusha there in this case. So just you can use any word here as a Kartrupadam, Bahuvachana form. If it is there, then you can use this same word here, Kaditavatyaha. Similarly, Gatavan Purusha Pullinga Bahuvachana form is not shown in this example, but you can see them here in this Koshtakam. Many of them are given here. For example, Uttisthati. Uttisthati wakes up. Pullinga Ekvachana form becomes Uttitavan. So, Pita Uttisthati. Pita. Okay. Let's say, what is the easier one? Uttisthati. Devaha Uttisthati. Devaha Uttisthati. Past tense. Devaha Uttitavan. So same thing. Aham Uttitavan I can also use. But I cannot say Aham Uttisthati, because that is our Lakara form. Vartamana Kala Lakara form. Then I have to say, what should I say? Aham Uttisthami. That Purusha comes into picture. And here Bhutakala, which is called here Tavatu, which is Bhuta Kridanta. We'll see what is Tavatu later. This is Bhuta Kridanta form, or in the English you can say past participle. So Aham Uttitavan I can say, because it's past participle form now. Aham Uttitavan, Saha Uttitavan, Devaha Uttitavan. Bahuvachana form becomes Te Uttitavantaha, Devaha Uttitavantaha. It could be anything here. Vayam Uttitavantaha. And similarly, Strilingam, you can say Devi Uttitavati. She woke up, she got up, and then, but we can say Taha Uttitavatyaha, Bhavatyaha Uttitavatyaha, Vayam Uttitavatyaha. If we are a group of ladies, we can say Vayam Uttitavatyaha. So these can be used for the Ekvachana and Bahuvachana. Dvivachana is not shown here. So there is the Dvivachana form also, because Vibhakti Koshtaka table has a Dvivachana form also. If there are two people who are waking up, you can use Dvivachana form. But Dvivachana forms, again, there are other alternate way to avoid that, remembering the Dvivachana forms, which we'll see later. But for now, important thing is we are studying the Bhutakala, Bhuta Kridanta Rupam of these Kriyapadas. In the Vartamana Kala, we have studied these Lakara forms, which takes the Purusha forms. But in the Bhuta Kala, we are studying the Bhuta Kridanta form, which do not take Lakara forms, but which take the adjective or Visheshana forms, which are actually Namapadam. And they become the adjective for the Kartrupadam. What are the Kartrupadas? Linga Vachana Vibhakti is there. Same Linga Vachana Vibhakti is used for this Bhutakala form. Now, or a Bhuta Kridanta form. Only for Asti and Bhavati, we are not using the Bhuta Kridanta form. We are actually using the Lakara form, because they are not common. Though there are Bhuta Kridanta form for these Asti and Bhavati, they are there, like Katavati, like Bhutavati. But nobody says Bhutavati. That is not commonly used. Okay. So we'll stop here today. I will also send you after this call. That's the follow-up email I'll send you. But I'll send you one link to a video posting which I did some few months back about how to understand this lakara form of bhutakala, that is lang lakara, and the bhuta kridanta form of this of the bhuta kridanta forms of these kriyapadas. What is the difference? And you need to understand that clearly while we are using these forms. They should not be considered direct replacements just to make our life easier for now in the first stage. For the usage of bhutakala, we are using the bhuta kridanta forms, but it is not a replacement for lang lakara. So these forms, like for example gatavan, is not equal to agachat exactly, but still in the first stage of learning this bhutakala, to keep it simple, we are using this. Okay. So on this I had made one video posting some time back. I'll send it to you in the email. Please go through it so that we are all very clear on what these mean actually. So dhanyawada. Any question?
Thank you, sir. I am up next week. I can take the next